Good morning to you. Happy Friday. I hope you guys are doing well out there, and I hope you're having much success and going on adventures with your dogs and training. Today I want to talk about another very important subject because it was a question that was presented to me, and man, I'm telling you, with today's divorce rates, this is a very important subject. In other words, the question came in and asked me, Brian, I'm going through a divorce, and my daughter has asked me for a dog that she can have as a companion to take back and forth to both houses. What do you think? Is that a good idea? Okay, let me right off the bat, let me throw a little disclaimer out there. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't deal with children issues like on that level. No way. What I'll be presenting to you today simply comes from the viewpoint of a dog behaviors, from a father, and also from a man who has gone through a divorce himself and had dogs and children who wanted dogs. So I can add a little bit of real life to it because Karen and I both went through a divorce, and it's how we came to know one another and how we became married. And she had dogs, I had dogs, kind of like the Brady Bunch, hooking up with both kids and dogs. So I know a little thing or two. And of course, in doing this for 40 years, I've met my share of people who have gone through their own divorces. And I'm here to tell you one thing that's in common with all of them. No one gets through a divorce without a bite wound. Everyone's scarred from it. You're just not going to get through it, period, especially if there's children involved. So let me kind of just hand out a little bit of advice, things that I know that worked for me, things that worked for all the clients that I have advised over the years. And of course, like all advice I give, it evolves. It changes over time as we learn more and get more feedback from everything. That's with training. That's with everything. So again, no narrow lanes here for me. Brian's willing to go off the road when he needs to go off the road, back into the middle of the road, no, to the other side of the road. Wherever we need to go to uncover the knowledge and the facts and the skills that we need to enhance owning a dog and enhance our own lives as human beings on this planet. I'm going to do everything I can to help you with that. So let me just kind of throw out a few things. And again, I am not an expert. Please, please, please do not use me as your expert when it comes to any sort of child psychology related to a divorce. Again, it's an ugly thing, but enough said on that. Let's get busy here real quick. All right, a couple things. I need some continuity in both households, some continuity, period. So what do I recommend? First of all must agree. All must agree. It's you and your ex-husband. You must agree. Both of the spouses must agree emphatically on this dog. There can be no doubt whatsoever. Not just agree on a dog, but what kind of dog. Yeah, some people have a little bit more of an allergic reaction to hair. You guys have got to settle for something that you will both agree on. The size of the dog, the gender of the dog, the age of the dog, whether it's going to be that shop or adopt type situation. Long hair, short hair. You must agree on this. And not only do you agree on this, but you put it in writing. That's number 2. You literally make up a contract. You can even have someone else do up a contract. Have one of your attorneys do up the contract. I don't care. Have a contract that you both will sign. Put it in writing. That immediately negates he said, she said, and puts it out of context, and you get to make up something later on. No. Put it in writing. And that includes the rules. And make sure that your child is part of that if they're old enough to comprehend the rules and understand them and be able to actually implement them and abide by them. And have that child even sign that contract as well. There you go. And everyone gets a copy of it, even the rules involved with the dog's ownership. I cannot stress that one enough. Then number 3, routines and living conditions need to be as similar as possible. They just do. Case in point, you can't allow the dog to sleep up on a bed. Not initially. Again, things change over time. Animals adjust, humans adjust, things change. But in the beginning, if you can keep the 2 homes as close to the same routines as possible, the same living conditions, everything will be much easier for everyone involved. Not just the dog, but now the child expects what time to feed the dog. There's predictive information. Again, predictive information gives us control. And control, and even the illusion of control, will always be able to drive down the stress response. So we have to do that. So case in point, I would not allow the dog to sleep up on the bed at one house and then made to sleep down on the floor or in its own bed at another house. Again, these are written rules. and you obey them. You don't get to win favorship over the dog or the child when the child and the dog is at your home. I do think that it's a good idea if you can do it, if the dog can travel back and forth to each home. However, if that's just impossible because one's living maybe in a temporary apartment and the other one is uncertain, maybe living with family, I get it. Then make sure that you can, if you weren't going through a divorce, whatever living arrangements you have are compatible with dog ownership to begin with. Don't start to try making up compatibility. It already has to be there. But if both households are compatible for dog ownership, safety in mind, keeping the animal warm, keeping the animal cool during the summertime, then I'm all for it. Okay, so those are 3 things. You got to keep those living conditions the same. That was number 3. Food, you can't change foods up when you move. You got to take the same old food. I mean, when Kara and I travel with our dogs, their food goes with us. It's always their same food. We try to use very similar bowls. I drag Captain's bed all over this darn planet. The thing's been everywhere. We take that. Again, I've done Facebook Live videos on moving and traveling and what you need to do, the continuity you need to try and keep, because dogs thrive on the familiar, and anything that you can keep more familiar to them, then the better off everyone's going to be. And again, I've seen this with children. It's the same thing with a child. So those are the 3 things that have to kind of be in the same households, period. So now I kind of divided my board up here into pros and cons. So let's just go over the pros first, cover those in a real hurry. First of all, having this dog can serve as a cognitive shift, or call it a distraction if you wish. Absolutely. Yeah, what's going to happen when you're trying to deal with your divorce and things might get a little bit ugly over there, and all of a sudden you're kind of now having to do laundry as a guy. You've never done laundry in your whole life. You're suddenly having to cook. Now all of a sudden you find you're in the carpool line and not the wife's in the carpool line. Things of this sort there. You can get so distracted and so busy that what's up with the child? What's the child able to do to occupy themselves? Well, the dog serves as a big time, and I do mean big time, very positive cognitive shift. It puts a lot of focus on the dog. And again, that's how therapy dogs work. By looking at them, just merely looking at dogs, unless it's any breed other than a Siberian Husky, they've developed 2 extra muscles in their eyelids to open their eyes wider. And we look in those wide eyes. Here goes oxytocin, all that stuff. Those neuropeptides attached to bonding and attachment, all that kind of stuff there. So again, next thing you know, you've been hijacked by the darn dog. And instead of feeling sorry about yourself and thinking about your predicament, you think about the dog. You're more concerned about the dog's welfare than your own. So taking a dog back and forth in the cases that I've seen over the years and experienced over the years, positive. Super, super, super good thing. Super cognitive shift. Okay, next thing, also in some cases can possibly fill a temporary emotional void. Yeah, I just kind of lost someone and I don't have them all the time. And that can really rip a hole in anyone's heart. The dog, as a companion, as a buddy, as a friend, can fill a void that's possibly made by the divorce. Or if there is no void, heck, well, then it just makes the heart bigger. That's all. So a really good thing there from an emotional standpoint. Really, really, really good. Okay, continuity. Yeah. Okay. I may be going from a big old 5,000 square foot house to a 1-bedroom apartment. And the furniture may be different, the cable channels could be different, but the one thing that's the same is my dog. It's my dog. I have continuity going back and forth to my homes. At least I got that one thing. That one thing. I'm telling you, I love it. I love it. I've traveled the places, and in most cases, when I was able to, I took my dog with me, and I tell you what, it lowered my stress response. It did. I had my buddy with me, and it's a really cool thing. A lot of times, and probably more times than not coming up here, I'll be separated from Kara. Kara and I are not separated very often, but now we are, just due to the fact that we're opening up 2 different locations away from here, and we have 2 homes, and because of that, I'm doing research and I'm writing. It's kind of cool to take Captain with me. He doesn't, don't get me wrong now, he doesn't even begin to fill that void that is left when I'm not with my wife. But still, he's my buddy. You've seen him. I love him to death. So that really helps a lot. I had that kind of continuity going back and forth. And if you're able to do that for your child, I can't recommend it enough. I honestly can't. I've never had anything bad come from that, at least not yet. Okay, and then the last thing, it instills responsibility. Okay, so there's the divorce. Got it. I've been over. It's ugly, no matter what. But life goes on. It keeps on marching down the road. The clock keeps on ticking away. Life moves on. It has to move on. And so part of that is, hey, you cannot neglect rearing the child properly. You can't do that. You got to quit focusing on yourself and your own misery and your own vengefulness or your own selfishness or whatever it is in there that's ugly. And you have to think about rearing your child. And one of the greatest things that you can never do for any child is give them responsibilities. Make them focus on something other than themselves. Give them a task. Let them accomplish that task. Even if it's a hard task to do, then they start to build experiences. So later in life, when the master teacher comes along, when they're much older and they don't have your protection any longer, now they can look back and go, you know what? It's an easy day here, baby. It's an easy day. I got this all day, every day. I've overcome these type of trials like they're nothing. I've got a stockpile of trials I've overcome. Absolutely, because you will have trials in your life. You are not getting out of this life without trials. And a lot of people got slapped with that this year, more so than ever. Prepare your child for trials, because they're coming. And they will come hard, they will come fast, and they will come merciless. You've got to be prepared for them. And owning a dog and being required to feed that dog, take care of that dog, train that dog, clean up after that dog. Man, I had a whole bunch of sled dogs. And guarantee you what? That's why I'm still such an early riser today. I am up long before the sun is up, because when I was yay high to a grasshopper, I was out in the freezing cold of Alaska taking care of my sled dogs, feeding them, cleaning up after them, making sure they had straw, making sure they were warm, making sure they were taken care of. Long before school. Long before school. I took care of my dogs first, okay? Then I worried about dear old Bryan. That's incredible responsibility there for a young child, and I definitely encourage that. All right, moving along. So now, okay, let's hop on over here to the cons. Here's some cons. Okay, the child is too young, and again, it's hard for me to throw an age out there, but I will say this much. Probably if it's 6 years of age and younger, again, children grow up at different rates. In our own experience, the girls grow up much faster than the boys did. So, but anyway, you're going to have to judge that. But let me get to my point here. If the child is too young, then the dog becomes the parent's dog. Yeah, it's not the child's dog, it's your dog. And you may just be a part-time dog owner and then ship the dog over to someone else's house and then they're the dog's owner. And then it comes back to your house and goes back and forth like a ping pong ball over a little net. And if that's happening, well, it's not really a cognitive shift during those first couple of months. It's a pain. It is an unwanted responsibility. It's a liability. It's not an asset for most parents. And next thing you know, parents start to fight. Seriously, I have to take the dog this week. Can you not just keep the dog for me next week? Because I got all this work I have to do. I got all these projects and deadlines I have to meet. And that darn dog, I don't have time to be taking it out. I don't have time to feed that dog. I don't have time to clean up after that dog. You need to keep the dog over at your house. And of course, the other side is going, excuse me? Like I have a career and I have a house to clean up and I have all this other stuff that I have to do as well. And there you go. And guess who's caught in the middle of that? The dog. Yep, here's the dog. And it's already been proven. In fact, I will do a Facebook Live video on this subject just to go through it very thoroughly. But dogs do indeed mirror their owner's stress response. When you're angry, take a look at your dog. Remember eavesdropping, bystander effect? Take a look at your dog, see what happens. Yeah, okay, so you got to watch that stuff and do everything you can. Why the written contract? Why you signed the darn thing? No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Be fair. Be nice. Hey, if you do have all these deadlines, I don't have anything to do. Yeah, keep the darn dog. Keep the peace. By keeping the peace, then the dog stands a chance. And again, not even to talk about the child, the dog. So again, if the child is too young, becomes parents' dogs. If parents fight, dog becomes fearful. Okay, then money. Again, another reason for my written contract. Money always gets everything going all the darn time. Okay, well, I bought the bag of food last time. I see you buying that bag of food. That bag of food is lasting out for every time the dogs come over here, but I never see you buying a bag of food. Guys, again, you've got to work through this darn thing, and you guys divvy it down the middle, whatever way you need to do it outside of the view, outside of hearing of your child, and you need, as adults, to enter into a contract. I will pay for this, you pay for that. And again, contracts, sign it, done. Done right then and there. Okay, and then the other biggest concern is other pets. All right, so, yeah, we split up, and I want to get my own dog. And I do. But then all of a sudden, our child wants a dog. And now all of a sudden, that could be an issue. Or I leave, and I hook up with someone else who already has dogs. Now, again, you may welcome your dog, the new dog for your child that's caught in the middle of the divorce. You may welcome that dog. But the existing dogs, the resident dogs in that household may not. And that can become a real issue real quick, because next thing you know, we have incompatibility, and now the dog that was supposed to share households, share responsibilities, now ends up having to stay at one household. And next thing you know, a lot of those dogs end up at the shelter, end up in a rescue, or they're rehomed. So again, just some thoughts to think about here. One thing that a lot of people, when I just was kind of discussing this a little bit, a lot of people say, well, isn't it bad for the dog to bounce back and forth and back and forth and back and forth? Again, is there stress involved with that? Yes. But were we all given the biology to overcome moderate to mild stress that is transient? Yes, we were. You're not getting out of life without stress. You're not getting out of life without trials. Wolves travel a lot. They may have a territory, but the territory can be the size of half the size of some of our states. And they will move from a denning area to a rendezvous area to where the food is area. They move a lot. The terrain changes. Mountainous, valley, the weather changes. The diet changes. The members in the pack change. Wolves are used to change. All wild animals are used to some change, because it's inevitable that it's going to occur. And again, that genetic base, that biologically prepared learning was passed down into our dogs. They can handle change. It's just when they first get there, they may be like you, landing somewhere. If I snap my fingers right now and you're in a new country, you're going to go, whoa. All right, so where am I? And you're going to seek out the rules of prediction and control. And as soon as you seek out those rules of prediction and control, and then as soon you're going to be feeling a whole lot better. And as soon as you get to know a few people around there, now you have social support. And then when you find out, man, I can do all sorts of things here. I can go hiking, I can go kayaking, I can go canoeing, I can go fly fishing. Sweet! Now I have an outlet for frustration. Same thing with the dog. When the dog first lands in the new home, oh geez, where am I? Dog's going to click its heels trying to get back to Kansas for about 2 or 3 days. But then it starts to learn the place. I got it. And then I go back to the other place. I know this place too. I go back to that place. I know this place too. I know this one. I know that one. I know this one. I know that one. It's no big deal. Those of you who own dogs right now, and you travel to friends' houses, your dog's perfectly fine when you get there. You go to your family's house, dog's perfectly fine when you get there. Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So that's one of those concerns I'm not going to worry about. The only way that would be different is if everything is different when the dog arrives. Different food, different sleeping arrangements, different training commands, different expectations to the training commands. Oh, now I'm having to deal with dogs that are trying to kill me when I get here. Oh, I went from New York, where it's now 18 degrees, suddenly to Phoenix, Arizona, and it's 89 degrees. Yeah, that can be a bit of a change. That's a little bit too much to handle for a lot of dogs. It'd be too much for me to handle, to be honest with you. Okay, so again, I hope this helps a little bit. Just want to kind of go over a few things about it. Rewind it, play it back, write it down. If you've had any suggestions, you've been through this yourself, hey man, throw them in there. Add it to the pool of meaning. Do not. I will never, ever allow anyone to add anything to the pool of mean. This is not your time and this is not your platform for you to be voicing your gripes about your current situation, living situation, or what's about to be. No, this is about adding to the pool of knowledge, to the pool of meaning. This is here to help people. Okay? So save your ugly stuff for some other platform. Don't park it on mine. Okay, guys, that's it for today. It's the end of the week. It's Friday. Well, it's never the end of the week for me. I got a busy day today. We have an advanced video series, a do-it-yourself. Learn how to train your dog to be reliably obedient to you with a super dynamic spirit, just like Captain, off leash. And so we're developing that right now. And today I have a lot of talking to do in front of a camera. So I'm going to hop off here to save my voice. Be ready to do that today, and I'll be tuning in with you guys tomorrow. And by the way, just kind of give you a little trailer. Next week, starting on Monday, I'm going to talk about if you have a young child, if you have a baby, you're expecting a baby, you just brought a baby home, what do we need to know during those first few months? What do we need to do the month before the child arrives? What do we need to do for that month after the child arrives? And then until the child is standing upright, walking, approaching the dog, and now activating what's known as the principle of resemblance. So I don't know how many days it's going to take me. I'm thinking in my head here, just kind of scratching it out real quick. Probably about 3 days. So I'll probably spend about 3 days. I used to call this thing pups and pregnancy. So that'll start on Monday. So stay tuned for it if you know anyone that's a little bit big right now. Okay. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Make it a great training day. And again, if you're going through this thing right here, pay attention to these notes here because, again, I think they're pretty sound, okay? Only because I've got feedback and experience over the years. Enjoy your day.